2025 was a roller coaster, wasn't it? Labubu dolls hanging off celebrity bags like an emotional support gremlin or Mercedes's bag. Coldplay Kiss Cam ending careers in real time. Jet 2 holiday jingle playing over every single travel disaster. AI brain rot, and the internet was asking 100 men if they can take a gorilla. In my opinion, the gorilla wins all the time. We laughed, we scrolled, we survived the chaos, and somehow we're still here. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're tired of people telling you every single year to reinvent yourself, fix everything, and suddenly become a brand new human on January 1st, same. Okay. So if you came here looking for a checklist, a reset, or get your life together speech, this is your moment to exit. Gracefully go to the door or no, leave YouTube. No hard feelings, truly. But if you're tired, a little reflective, or low key over pretending you're excited about things you're not excited about anymore, then stay. Hey everyone, welcome to MON, Monday Over Negativity. I'm Idelis, your host, and this is the very last Monday of 2025.
This is MON, still showing up.
Hosted by Idelis.
Okay, MON family, these are the last two MON stories of the year. So this first MON story, someone said, because you didn't share your name, I wouldn't either after this MON story. I had a super early flight, like 3 a.m. early. It was dark, it was quiet, nobody was outside. I ordered the Uber and I'm standing there with my bags watching the app. Like, why does it say you have arrived, but I don't see you? Turns out the Uber was on the wrong side of the street, one-way road, no way to turn around. So I'm walking in the dark trying to find this man before he cancels. I finally made it to the airport, checked my bag, and I feel relieved for 2 seconds. So I grab my carry-on, get on the escalator trying to move fast because boarding is coming up. And somehow, don't ask me, I trip and then I absolutely eat it right at the top in front of everyone, in front of TSA, bags everywhere. Pride gone. And the worst part, TSA didn't even react. They just looked at me like, ma'am, please collect your belongings. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Honestly, if I would have fell, I would have like been all dramatic, like, oh my God, I need help. I need help. So then I can skip the whole line at TSA and get to my boarding as fast as I can. At least that's what I would do.
Nobody at the airport gives a shit.
Nobody cares. Everybody's like, just please, woman, like, get it together. Thank you for sharing your mom stories, and I'm sure we can all relate to the holiday chaos. So this next mom story is why I don't like paying in cash, okay? To avoid this whole mess. Someone said, tell me why. I'm already tired, already over the holidays. I stopped at the store just to grab something quick. I paid in cash. Everything's normal until the cashier looked at the bill. She holds it up to the light and then she looked at me. Then she calls someone over. Now there's a second person looking at my money. They're like, this bill isn't real. I'm standing here confused because I didn't print it. I didn't make it. I don't even know where it came from, but suddenly I'm embarrassed, apologizing, explaining myself since I committed a crime. But she committed a crime, right? That is a crime. Okay. And the worst part, I didn't argue. I just nodded. I put the bill away, paid another way, and walked out. Long story short, check your money. Check every single dollar. It's typically $100 bills that they be checking though. Unfortunately, you're negative $100 or $50 because you got a fake bill. Damn. So in girl math, what would that be? All right, Mon family, thank you for showing up and sharing your Mon stories. Make sure to continue doing that for next year. Let's slow down right here because this is the week and the space between one year ending and another one beginning. This is the week where the calendar is quiet, the pressure is gone, and the noise finally steps back. So let me start with something very simple. Think about how airports work. And I know we just, had a little airport story. So I think this analogy will go right in hand with the new year. You don't just show up with a ticket and you walk into the plane, right? There's a whole process before you even take off. They check your bags, they weigh your bags, and if it's too heavy, what do? Or what do? You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't negotiate. You take your things out of the bags that are too heavy, not because the plane is mean, because it can't take off safely carrying extra weight. And life works the same way. This next year isn't about asking if you want more. It's asking what you're still carrying, because a lot of us keep saying, oh, this is my year, while dragging fear, old habits, expired relationships, and old versions of ourselves that already had their moment. And here's the part that nobody likes to hear: the universe doesn't negotiate with weight. You either lighten the load or you stay grounded. So, if you're listening to this after work or lying in bed on YouTube or just sitting down on the couch because today felt heavy, maybe you don't need a bigger vision, maybe you need fewer bags, because elevation doesn't come from adding more, it comes from releasing what no longer fits. That's why growth starts to feel uncomfortable right before it becomes real. You can warn someone and say, be careful, there's a rock there, right? And they'll say, I don't see it. They don't see it until they hit it. And after a while, you realize the lesson isn't about avoiding the rock, it's about becoming the kind of person who stops walking into that same one. That's how cycles break. Not because you fought harder, but because you saw something clear. Battles disappear not because you won, but because you outgrew them. Elevation changes what even reaches you. And once you have something to lose, you stop fighting like someone who doesn't. And that's not weakness, that's pure wisdom. And that wisdom will reshape your whole identity, because motivation won't carry you into 2026, like I mentioned in my previous episode, because motivation is emotional and it comes and goes. Identity stays. Motivation says, I'll start when I feel ready. And then you have your identity that says, this is who I am, even when it's inconvenient. And that's why nobody actually changes overnight. They change through daily alignment, quiet decisions, repeated often when nobody's watching. Hence, week 2 of December habits. Okay? And here's the truth that nobody warns you about. When you actually start becoming the person you want to become, life is boring. There's no chaos, no drama, no emotions, just highs and low. And people panic and they say to themselves, why does everything feel so quiet? Or why don't I feel excited anymore? Am I doing something wrong? And the answer is no. Your nervous system was trained on chaos. And I said this before. So peace feels unfamiliar at first, but boring is where the discipline is built. Boring is where money will stabilize. Boring is where confidence deepens, and boring is where wisdom grows. Chaos feels productive, but boring builds legacy. And that's why real growth doesn't look impressive. It looks like choosing rest without guilt, saying no without explaining, opening your bank app instead of avoiding it, and responding with wisdom and discernment instead of emotion, and protecting your spirit more than your image. This is the work, and it's quiet on purpose, because knowledge alone won't transform you. Now, I want you to think about this. You can turn on a piano in 1 second, but it takes years to learn how to play it. You can take a picture of a luxury car, but that doesn't mean you can maintain it, and that doesn't mean it's yours. You can fake a diploma all you want, but you can't fake competence. Knowledge without, transformation will keep you the same. You can do the right thing for a season and still not become a different person, because transformation is doing the same actions with a different essence. That's why habits take time, not because God is slow, but because you're being rebuilt, which brings me here. If you were standing face to face with the one who gave you life, what would you tell him? Would he recognize the person you become? For all you chismosos? Would he see purpose, or would he just see busyness? Would he be proud of how you use the time you were given? Because if you have everything but not the foundation, you have nothing. And if you have nothing, right, but God, you have everything. And I mentioned this in monthly chaos, right? But I want you to think about this again. I remember I asked Mercedes and Isa this question. You know your birth date. One day there'll be an end date. But the most important part of your life is the dash in between that's in your tombstone, okay? That dash holds your story, who you become, how you loved, what stood for you, and who were you when no one was watching. And here's what I want you to think about. You don't know your last day. So this isn't about fear, and it's literally about intention of, are you happy with how you are living now? Are you becoming better, or are you just getting older? Are you living on purpose, or are you just on autopilot? Because life was never meant to be lived only for you. That's where meaning lives. So as you step into this next year, don't rush, don't perform, don't force, lighten the load. Choose alignment, practice obedience, show up daily, be boring, be consistent. And when life asks you to step on the scale again, you don't panic. You choose what you're willing to carry. And that's how becoming actually begins. I'm going to back things up with Jesus, but I'm going to back things up with Jesus based off what I've learned this year. I'm not saying any of this from a theory. I'm saying it from a year where God met me in my hardest moments. One of the first things God showed me this year was that patience and fear can look the same. I thought I was waiting faithfully. I told myself I was being patient, but what was actually happening was I was holding on because I was afraid to let go without any guarantees. And fear will disguise itself as wisdom if you let it in. Another thing that God taught me is that familiar doesn't mean it's a line. Something can feel comfortable, predictable, and even safe, and still not be what you're meant to stay in. Alignment didn't feel exciting for me. It felt quiet. It felt very unfamiliar. It felt choosing what was right instead of what was comfortable to me. And obedience didn't feel like, empowering. It felt very humbling. But every time I chose obedience over control, it felt very lighter. Not because life got easier, not because I stopped forcing outcomes that were never meant to be mine. But also, I think, God taught me the difference between comfort and correction. There were moments this year where I stopped asking people what they thought, and I opened the Bible instead. Not because people didn't care, not because advice was wrong, but because advice can comfort you, but God and scripture will correct you and tell you what you need to do. People can affirm you all you want. God will align you, And correction isn't punishment, it's protection. Another lesson that God taught me was that I have been carrying weight, as I mentioned, that was never assigned to me. Responsibilities I didn't create, expectations I never agreed to, emotional labor I wasn't meant to sustain. And when I released what wasn't mine, that foundation got stronger. Not louder, not flashier, just stronger. God doesn't always remove the weight. Sometimes He reveals what was never yours to carry. And that release feels like a loss. I will say that. It probably felt a loss for a lot of you before it feels like freedom. And God also showed me that transformation isn't about doing new things, it's about doing the same things with a different heart. And you'll do it from, your alignment instead of survival, from faith instead of fear, from obedience instead of control. And that kind of change takes time. Not because God is slow, but because He's rebuilding a foundation that takes patience. So, if this year slowed you down, if it stripped you, if it made you quieter, it wasn't a punishment. It was a precision. And if this year taught me anything, it's this: obedience holds weight less than control, alignment costs less than attachment, and peace is always with the release. That's why I talk about becoming, because I didn't just want change, I learned how to carry it. And if this year didn't end the way you thought it would, that doesn't mean you missed your moment. Sometimes, God lets things end quietly so you can finally hear what really matters and get into your purpose. So if you're listening to this feeling tired, not sad, not broken, just tired, you're not missing anything. You've just reached the part of growth where pretending doesn't work anymore. And honestly, that's not a bad place to be. And I'll still be here, still showing up. I'll see you same time, same place, still showing up. Happy New Year's, you filthy animals. With these jeans, I can't breathe with these jeans. Think this is a good height to put it. Hanging off Mercedes. No, not off Mercedes. Well, you just like little boo-boos.
Nobody in this family has no taste.
Well, at least I only have two little boo-boos because of you. A red one and a beige one. Yo, these pants don't fit me no more. Anyways. Right?
You just read the story.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I need more coffee. Huh? Why doesn't my brain work today?
I don't know why you're having an issue with this.
Okay. I don't know why it took me so long. Okay. This next. Do I have more water?
Barely.
It's the tight pants. Oh my God. What?
The bank could be like, yo, I got this fake bill. Give me my money back.
No, because anybody could do that. You can make a fake bill and just be like, bank, give me a, and it was you.
Can't you exchange a fake bill at the bank? Like if you find a fake bill.
If that's the, but, but no, that's what it is. Because there's a lot of scammers out here making those fake bills. So why would the bank let you exchange a fake bill when they don't know you made the fake bill and you're trying to scam them? Is my question. People need to stop being lazy and figure out a way to make money instead of actually print money. These pants are tight, bruh.
Damn, you just lose your money like that? That's crazy.
They say you lose your money?
You gotta turn it into the police, but you don't get nothing back for it.
Turn it into the police. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, because for an example, let's say like I can just print a bunch of like fake money. Don't do this, people. Why would I go to the bank and be like, give me the real money? when I was the one who did it. The bank, no, that's fraud. That's fraud. That's fraud. Yo, I just feel like my brain's not working today.
You're on Christmas vacation.
Jesus, give me the words. Give me the words that the Mon family needs to hear next week. Amen. Give me the words. Okay. Okay. So let's slow down right. I've been using my hands a lot. And I sometimes when like people be like taking pictures of like them watching Mon or whatever, I have jazzy hands. So maybe I need to put my hands down.